Good evening. I'm going to demonstrate how to tie a bird's nest fly. This fly pattern was originally tied by Carl Bird in 1959. It's still quite an effective pattern even today. I'm going to be using a TMC 5262 hook in size 14 and hairline dubbin in hare's ear color, and I'll be using ultra thread in 140 denier tan color. Let's start. Start by putting the thread on the shank. We'll run that up to just about the barb. Trim off your excess. Go back just a little bit further there. Okay. We're using mallard flank feathers in the tan color. You want to make those 2/3 of the length of the hook or so, maybe so about like that, and then tie that in. And trim off your excess you have, and then you need to put in your ribbing, which is copper UTC wire in size brassy. That's what we're going to use on this. So you're going to want to secure that. Finish tying in the tail to the barb. Okay. Now we're going to form the body with the hare's ear dubbing. You want your body to taper from slim to fairly thick to slim at the head again. Keep adding a little more dubbing there. Just a pinch more than I have there. One more little tiny pinch. There. Make sure all the guard hairs are pulled back. There. Now we're going to take the copper wire and we're going to wrap it in reverse from what we did on the dubbing. That way the wire is crossing over the threads instead of following them. So it helps lock everything in much nicer. Now we want to tie in the wire. Twist off the excess that you have there. Okay, now we're going to tie in the collar hackle, which is another piece of flank feather, and we'll lay that on top of the hook, and you want it to go to extend just past where your tail begins, and you're going to want to wrap this, try to get it wrapped all the way around the hook. Get it secured. Look at it to make sure you're all the way around. You can spin it around a little bit to make it spread out better. And trim off your excess. I'll bring your got a little hole in the fibers. Okay, now bring your thread back to your collar hackle. Now we're going to want to split. I still got a bare spot in there. There we go. We're going to make a dubbing loop by splitting the thread. You do that by using I use a little pick. And then you're going to want to put, you don't want to use too much of this. Just kind of go somewhat sparingly to build the collar up for this. I would say that's probably enough for this. Now, spin your bobbin so as to twist this up into a tighter noodle. About like that. Now, as you're wrapping this on, you want to continue to pull back the fibers of the dubbing so it forms a collar back over the top of the collar hackle. Now that that's formed, make sure you get all the material fibers pulled back. Tie up a nice little head on it. Now that that's done, put just a little tiny bit of head cement on the thread and whip finish. Make sure everything's tucked in there well. And then trim off your thread. And there it is. The bird's nest. A fellow YouTuber who's a hunting enthusiast asked me if duck feathers were usable as for fishing flies. And I told him absolutely. So many patterns we use today utilize all parts of the duck feathers. Wing feathers, flank feathers, tail feathers. And so I tied this one for him to demonstrate it. So I'd like to make a big shout out to Rookie Outdoor Learners. He was the gentleman that wished to see this demonstrated. Have a good evening.